Morning. So here I am again, wee hours of the morning, 4:50 a.m., almost 5 a.m. About to go to sleep. Look at these eyes again. These two, I did not flip you off, just like yesterday. And I prayed about it. I got on that bed right there. Prayed about it. God, how should I deliver? I want to be consistent and talk to you very often. And I want to talk to you about unlikely. And I'm sure just allowing the Godhead 3-in-1 to flow through me. I'll come up with hashtags and solutions through. I just want to talk to you about unlikely. Tell you about some of my story and encourage you, because some of you have that same thing in you. You may not talk about it much. Some of you all may feel like your life has been very plain Jane or very vanilla. But I want to talk to you about unlikely. And shout out once again to Walmart. This time I got a Navy Blaines t-shirt on. Wait till we get our hands on you. Endorsements coming, baby. Endorsements coming. I rep for you. Rep the set. Gotta rep the set. A mask off. Mask off. Anyhow, talk to you about unlikely. There's a lot of things about me that are unlikely. And like you who are watching, if you're drawn to me, there's probably a lot of things about you are unlikely. People probably look at you and say, how are you doing that? How are they doing that? How is he doing that? How is she doing that? Very unlikely. So there are seeds of potential inside of you. They're inside of you. And some people that care about you deeply know about the seed, and they can see you because they've seen one of you pass through life, either currently or past. So talking about unlikely, everything from, in my case, academics, athletics, work, social, travel, just that could be a part of social. Maybe even to presence, because there's two representations of you, and let the two be the same. Let them be congruent. The online you, the offline you. Unlikely. So I want to talk to you about unlikely. Things you may or may not know about me. So I transitioned from a student that, I was later told that I was smart, but I struggled so much. I had to find a reason to kick it in gear. About third grade, I kicked it in gear. Faced some bullying in the 4th grade. Teacher didn't necessarily like me much. It happens. Amongst a lot of students, and sometimes amongst black and brown students. It happens. But that 5th grade, I think Mrs. Compton, 5th grade teacher, that's when I started to sell a little bit. I was a little crybaby, like some of the other boys in class. But hey, it was great. And concurrently, that's when I started popcorn and football. And believe it or not, guys, that was a learning year for me. I was drawn to football from a very young age, being exposed to it. It was a thing to watch. My dad, just family. But I wanted it. I chose it for myself. I wasn't pushed into it. I begged and pleaded. I finally got my time. 10 years old, 5th grade. So that's when I started to get along the A and B track. She was such a good teacher, and she was a good teacher to the white, the black, the yellow, the red, the male, the female. She was the type to sleepovers. I never made it over there. My parents weren't always for that. Nothing against her. But many of the young ladies, they will probably forever remember Mrs. Compton for that. Unlikely. You don't find it everywhere. So I love when people, even in the present day, still got that old school 90s in them. That 90s love. That trustworthiness between parents. And beyond that, there were a lot of outings. There were times that my brother, myself, my younger brother, my mother, my father, we'd be at a family fun center, like, one of those with the bouncing balls and the obstacle courses, one of those family fun centers. It was in Port St. Lucie. And just the little things that my dad and my mother, they took the time out to let us have some fun, let us be children. Just different things. May I never forget it, and may I pass it on. So it'd just be times. It'd be Mrs. Compton and her husband, Mr. Compton, who was a percussionist. If y'all don't know what that means, The drummer man, the drummer. So she was a person, she was a community builder, a community connector. She was a teacher, but more than just a teacher. And I don't like to use just, but some of y'all can relate to just. It wasn't just clock in, do something, get paid. No, she was in our lives. And I'm going to say something unlikely. If I can go to the forward at that time and bring it back. Superior Realty, what's going on? She invited me. You know, I was in college. She reached out to me. People keep numbers on you. Landline phone. For me to do a graduation speech for Lincoln Park. You probably heard me say this in other videos. Being unrooted, I turned it down. I was like 18, 19 years old. I probably shouldn't have turned it down. My speaking voice needed to be out there. It would have been a chance to meet people, impact people. I have something to say. I just thought I was doubting myself. Maybe things are insecurities or things that, you know, that I was privately troubled with, or what if I stumble? What if I say something out of turn? But it's okay. I've grown past that, but I appreciate it. She reached back for me. But back to 5th grade, somebody has to see something in you to do that, because she saw me make mistakes. She saw me. She heard when I flipped off somebody when I wasn't supposed to, and she had to confront me about it. She was real too. She saw me when I had a little attitude face, attitude eyes, when she was pregnant with another child on the way, and I was doing things she didn't like. But she was a good, loving person. Good, loving person. And for y'all that want to know, yes, she was a white female. But she was good with my parents. And she didn't live far from us, you know what I mean? So a person of the community. I want y'all to know there is such a thing. There's pockets in this world where people do get along. And guess what? My parents were accepting and receiving of that. That's a good thing. And it doesn't always mean that I've never heard ill-fit words along those lines. Some of us have. We just have to know how we're going to move forward. It wasn't about her, but I'm just saying, it's good when there's a harmony there. There's an example that, look, this is how the world works. And we live in a world that further tries to corrupt, taint, and divide. But there was such a harmony and a unity there. She was such a cool lady. And this was back, my father liked them cars. And I remember Miss Compton had this like 1995 Thunderbird. And I like cars too. I said, nice car, Mrs. Compton. This was along, you know, her and her husband, Mr. Compton. That's a long time, like that family fun center. And other times, we'd just see her out a dinner night or something. You just see her, just different places. Some people come across your life for real, for a reason. And people like that, I will want her to know that I'm all right. Hopefully she has a way of keeping up with me. Maybe she looked back and I am doing the very thing that she called upon me, and I didn't answer in the affirmative. Unlikely. You understand? It was my time. I just didn't realize. Capture that. But I'm here now. You may be a late bloomer. Unlikely. It's all off the top of the dome. But I appreciate her. And concurrently with that football experience, there was an expectation placed upon myself and the teammates. And I come from Pop Warner. I come from the Black Pop Warner League. Some of y'all don't want to believe it. Y'all like to play on me just because I'm interracially friendly. It's all good. That's who I am. I chose that a long time ago. Way before elementary school. God chose it. That's just who I am. I know it's part of my life and part of my impact on this world. Just who I am. But I just want you guys to understand that there was an expectation placed upon us to be A and B students. You know, C's are understood, but we weren't there to be flunking. And they had ways of checking on us, and that could pull your playtime. And I was on a very winning Pop Warner team, so I had the experience. I know what it's like to be on a winner. And some of my teammates today, you very publicly see them, very visibly see them, like James Bonds. James Bonds, that's my older teammate. He was one of the running backs, fullback, captain. Used to pray for us, the Lord's Prayer. And that was impressive. A young man knew that prayer, and we just followed along with him. There were certain times, like before the game, certain times like that. It was a thing of courage. And when you hear some of those old school tales, you know, when prayer was in school, when prayer was in football, you know, All of that. When you hear some of that older stuff, takes a village to raise a child. This stuff is true. This isn't just somebody fictitiously painting the old world. This stuff was true. This was 1995. This is back then. And I would like to tell you that I wasn't a star out the gate, but the coaches saw that discipline in me. Toughness and discipline. Yes, toughness. Toughness and discipline, which transferred into the next year. Same team, Little Raiders. We were a winning team now. And I'm trying to remember, I think James had to move up. He's a little bit older than me. He moved up to the Steelers. And if anybody know about them Steelers from SLCYFO back then, them coaches did not play. They cut shot. And most of it was a public park where all of us, it was Dreamland Park. And it's off of 25th, just south of Orange Avenue in Fort Pierce. 25th, which is our Martin Luther King. And all the teams, we had the Pee-wee, and I guess they would call it junior midget. They would call them the little boys and the big boys. So you had teams that represent NFL teams. Those Steelers, man, they just let you know, because if you in this game for keeps, you're going to move up one day. You might be a Steeler. You got to be willing to take it. Coaches had their dogs on chains and all kind of ways of toughening you up. That's the old world. 1995, 1996. And people like that, man. James Trailblazer. His dad was already up there, the other one. And it's good to be in a system, because he comes from Mom's legacy. Y'all keep up with Mom's legacy. Mom's legacy ain't going nowhere. 1, 2, 3 generations. And some para. They got cousins out there doing the thing too. But I want to talk to you about that 6th grade, going into a middle school. My early schools were Fort Pierce schools, and people have this perception of Fort Pierce one way or another. People like it now. Downtown and over on the beach, they like it now, but it can be tough. You're going to see and hear some things coming along there. And it kept me out of trouble to be a part of this Pop Warner League, even though I got in a little trouble in middle school. I had way more trouble in middle school than high school. Dean's office, principal's office. Yes, me. Sometimes I had no business there. Got set up. Kids from the community I grew up with doing things, and I had to take the fall because they set me up one way or another. It's all good. I made it this far. But it kept me out of trouble. And then next year I was getting my playing time, and I was a left tackle, believe it or not. So I do have offensive lineman skills, like the blind side, left tackle. Before I even knew what that was called, knew what it was, I was a part of that. And just got to think about it. It just all happened so fast, though. But it was a good phase of my life. Unlikely. Starting left tackle. I didn't get any defense back in the day, but there's some of the coaches saw in me, which, as I get further into unlikely, now that I'm kind of outlining as I go, you'll see that come back. But that's when grade point averages started, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and they let us know that was going on in 8th carries into high school, and they weren't lying. You put yourself in a good path by start having a good 8th grade. So I was there to learn, and there was some spaces, some little gaps I checked out, language arts, this and that. So if you see certain things in my writing along the way, I kind of checked out, spaced out. I wasn't always the fastest note taker. Maybe some things get lost, and I wasn't there. But it's all good. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm in the pursuit of learning and bettering myself. But I gained a lot of study skills in every one of these subjects out here, the major subjects. 6th grade was a great time for me. I'm in there with cousins, friends, some alive today, some not alive today, due to circumstances of the urban community in the hood, seriously. Some are free today, some are not free today, due to certain circumstances. Unlikely. And some of y'all are unlikely. This ain't to big up me. I just want to open you up to who I am and the fact that you can make it in this world. You can make, and you got to stay on it, because people they're gonna keep trying with them snares. So you stay vigilant. Unlikely. Talk to you about unlikely. So I'm making it through there. I'm seeing these 3.0s and everything else. Those honor roll, and you get rewarded for it. It's all kind of breakfasts and rewards and treats and all kind of stuff all the way through middle school and high school for doing the right thing. It was a great experience. I got trophies and all kind of memorable experiences from the football experience. 7th grade, I'm going to tell you something that happened. I got in there Study skills, getting good. And I remember Mr. Floyd. Shout out to Mr. Floyd. He was my world geography teacher, study skills. And that's why sometimes I can have a good conversation with people from around the world. Like, how did you know that? Most people don't even know what that is. Most people can't even say that. I was about that world geography. It helped me. It helped me to be the man who I am today. And people tease and pick on me. Even when I went to college, that first year, because I would interact with the English and, the literature reading courses, I got teased by a group of girls. They called me Reading Rainbow. I remember calling my sister, trying to cry about it. Not boo-hoo, leaky cry, but just that not being accepted. I was having the same problems in middle and high school. But as you see today, I do not care. And I'm thankful for my sister for being a resounding, encouraging me. You are who you are. Be confident who you are. You're there for what you're there for. Things along that line. And it's true. And some of the same people teasing you, they make it in life. But if you see, I'm out in front. I'm out in front. People may be concerned about what I'm doing, worrying if it makes me unemployable. Oh, you're doing too much, this and that. Do I care? I don't care. The right people will want me. As an employee, as a contractor, subcontractor, consultant, whatever. I am me. And it's time that I get paid this doctor salary through YouTube. Because I'm going to contribute. That's why I'm up right now. That bed right there, I got clothes in the dryer. I'm going to get them clothes out of the dryer. And I'm going to get me some sleep. And I'm going to repeat what I did yesterday. I had a great day what I did. Back to that 7th grade. I remember, I believe, 7th grade, I did also make a grave mistake before the holiday season. Got in a little push and shove fight. Somebody teasing me, this and that. But I forgive. It's so long ago. I don't want to give any man a helping hand, as long as they're not disrespecting me. People need help, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? We might have had a bump in the heads, disagreements back then, but I'm going to help you. If you need help, when I come across your path, you come across my path. It's all good. Yeah, we pushed and shoved back then. It's all good. And yeah, I got that 5-day suspension. People were disappointed in me. And I missed a basketball tryout. Didn't get to do it. That irked me, y'all. And that 7th grade, also that fall, I think part of that pent up, I had to leave football for a minute. That was a gap. I started it for a few weeks. They had moved me up to that midget division. And I was ready for it, but I was on another strict team, the Bucks. Coach Tarbin and them. I needed to be there. I could have used the development, but I had to learn my body. I was getting cramps. I've always dealt with the allergies and exercise and induced asthma, but I've learned to weather through it as I've grown. Because y'all see what I do. I've done 2 fitness competitions, and you saw the level of lean muscle mass and rip I produce. And you know that come with running some sprints or any kind of distance running. So I've learned to weather the storm. Likewise, I did varsity football at a high level. People have seen me. They see me do pursuit, across the field, chasing down Olympic sprinters and tackling them. Sometimes, shared tackle with another teammate, cornerback on the other side. I was an outside linebacker in the defensive end. Plays sometimes while we're running 90 yards across the field, 60 yards across the field, because I didn't give up on the play. Hustle plays. And that's something that it's in the past now, but I would have been a great addition to a college football team, because I may not come off as the meanest, nastiest dude, but I'm going to do what people don't do. When you see people angry about how they let teams just run by them and guys walking and just letting them score, they didn't have to score. I was that dude that would have ran Buddy down. I had a good game time speed, and I had a good 40 time. Believe it or not, I was a 4.5 at best and a 4.8 on average. It didn't start that way. I built myself there. I can run. But hey, those days behind me, but the skill set's still there. Unlikely. So take you back to 7th grade. Mom went and had me checked out, this and that. That's probably why I sound a little different than people. Chronic sinusitis. A little stuffed in here, in them cavities, you know what I mean? But it's all good. Hey, life will go on. That's something about my health. Hopefully I can clear it up and sound less stuffy to y'all. I am opening my mouth and talk, but I sound, it's all good. People have problems with all kind of ways people sound. Joyce Meyer, Terry Savelle Foy, beautiful Terry Savelle Foy. It's all good. She makes fun of it herself. She'll call an order for pizza, and people say, "Now, does your mommy know you're ordering this?" She said, "No, but my husband does." This Terry, So when y'all see me 34 years old, and y'all see me with the happy, childlike face and actions, and maybe I sound like a boy to you. There's some bass in my voice, but hey, I'm very much grown up, very much making an impact in life. It's all good. It's just my voice. I sound different. And shout out to people like Ernest Owens, better known as Applejacks, Christian hip hop artist. He got that nasally sound too. He's loved. Alana Like Banana loves him. It's all good. It shows you're gonna be all right. Unlikely. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. So moving right along, as the story goes, 8th grade. Had the weather in the storm. I was locked in. I was doing my best to be a good student. Met some really influential people along that 8th grade. And tried out for basketball again. Just barely got cut. I was almost on that team. And I remember there was a female basketball coach. She let me know. And she made sweet, light remarks about it sometimes. Because in middle school, that participation, and it's one of those awards I got later. I got all kind of awards. Mama was there. Mama, godmama, I remember these moments. They were there. I got all kind of awards, including that ready and willingness to participate in gym. I was shocked I was getting these awards. But sometimes people see a light in you. You didn't even know you that. Unlikely. I wasn't the only one. Plenty of people outshine me academically. Plenty of people had that perfect attendance deal. Plenty of people were a little more likable than me. But I was racking up awards. And I'm that way still in life. I don't do it all for accolades, but it's fun. It's a good feeling. And it's a good something to be able to tell, and a good thing for people to tell of you. But I almost made that basketball team. She made it light sometimes in gym class. You can hit a high arching three like Jermaine. I'm right-handed, but I can't. I am NBA in real life, but shot-wise 3. I used to air that thing out. But I couldn't play basketball. The weave, 3-man weave and all that. But she pulled me aside and let me know, try out for your high school teams when you get there. Work on it. But I had this crazy dream. I was ultimate confident when I was in middle school. I wanted to be a 3-sport athlete. I wanted to be football, basketball, and track and field. As you can see, football was the one that endured. I wanted to be an Olympian. I wanted to be an NFL athlete. I just wanted basketball just to be a little topping, a little something on the side. Because, that's what I see people do. Just be that super athlete. I wanted to follow in those footsteps. And I saw people make it out. Because, believe it or not, I am from the projects. At least till I was 6 years old. And when Dad moved us on out, Dad got that house. He moved Mama, me, and Jaja over into that house. And about 8 minutes drive time from the hood. Outer suburbs. People act like we changed and this and that. It was a good environment. Unlikely. Why I say unlikely is people would see me, see my brother. And my brother got a different swag than me. Way more urban. Way more with it. Way more appeal. And it just is what it is. Same gene pool, same handsome for my mother and father. Same good looking. But people would look at us and say, they would find out we had a mother and a father. You feel me? It's just something as simple as that. It's big in the black community. And we were given a chance. We didn't have all this raging and roaring in our home. We were encouraged and structured to do homework and study. And we played. We played out in the neighborhood with kids, football, basketball, foot races. We even had the luxuries of go-karts and paintball and bicycles and all that. We had fun as youth. People would come to us, new neighborhood and old. They would come to us and do all that with us. Pool. We had a pool. Good stuff, And socially, unlikely. Sometimes we live in this first world. Sometimes that can help a child. And I'm not sure if that was in the plan by mom and dad. But that at least made us relevant. And Jarvis a whole relevant by himself. He's just the Jar whole relevant by himself. My brother's an amazing person. He really is. He played football too. He did that for a while. But he took seriously at a certain point hip-hop beats. Legendary JTA. I am legend. What? That's him. The beat tags and all that, going online. Culinary Academy, racking up awards. And now he's a financial advisor, stockbroker. Bad little dude. That's my little brother. Awesome dude. Transition to our family. When y'all see me post stuff, I really mean it. We going somewhere in life. Yeah, we got some antagonists or whatever. You can't stop and look at them. Unlikely. Keep moving. Just keep moving. And we don't come for money. Dad had hustle money from working so doggone hard. Citrus harvesting. You know what I'm saying? And just being money smart. But really not much of plan. And that's no disrespect. And when y'all see me moving about, I'm scoping real estate. My brother and I, we ain't playing. We here for the stocks, the real estate. We need that back. Because Dad keep it real with us. What he and his brothers moved to Florida for, from Mississippi, my dad put it like this. He said, all them pretty shirts and cars we was buying, we should have been buying some land. And what I'm saying it is, you might look at your home county, parish, or, county or parish and city. You may say, this country ain't nothing ever going to be here. Ain't nothing coming. You don't know that. You don't know what it's going to look like in 20 or 30 years. So you might want to get on your game and start snatching up some acreage. They might develop that place, and you might be ready with your lawyers. I ain't selling it, but I'll lease it. I'll sell it, but hey, you going too low, dog. I'm talking that way. You feel me? That way. Unlikely. Be unlikely. Be ahead of the curve. So when you see me just as excited when I'm posting from doing one of these Walmart deliveries in one of these country areas, country counties, I see what's going on. I come from, people from South Florida don't even want to claim Fort Pierce. They disowned us a while ago. But it is South Florida. They call it, oh, he from up there in that country. Unlikely. Y'all see me do things. Do I look like I'm from the country and stuck in the country? Okay, some of y'all might. Some of y'all from New York. Well, it's the boys from down here say New York. It's all good. It's all good. I've been to the Northeast. It's a great place. It's freaking awesome. I love it. Freaking awesome, dude. I like it. Now that light real strange. It turned off and turned back on. Anyway, it's all good, y'all. Hotel. But right back there in that 8th grade, unlikely. Just having some things to draw friends. And yeah, some people stole from us, but it wasn't but a select few. Forgiveness. Because some of them doing good in life right now. It's all good. Forgiveness. Yeah, we lost some bikes. We lost some go-karts. It's all good. But I want to tell you about how tasting a little bit of adversity and defeat, like no football 7th and 8th grade, the beginning of 7th grade. When I got ready, this is how they do it in Florida. The coaches come through and start, they present to you. Now, you already chose your school choice. They present to you what it's going to be. This is my program. This is what it's going to be. This is the offense we're going to run. This is the mission. This is what I'm trying to do for y'all. This is the college connections I got. They're telling you, all right. Legal as far as I knew it. So I choose. I'm following mine. People I grew up with, this and that. I was going to go to one school. This is my honest truth. But I went with them. And if y'all know, I was on 3. So I might as well tell you. I had my eyes on Centennial, brand new school. Ching-ching-ching. Hey, the truth comes out. But I started my day 1 with Port St. Lucie, rode that thing all the way through. And yes, I had my moments in between there. If I had a way to get vouched, if my dad had means, I probably should have been out of there. But guess what? Let me be Port St. Lucie legacy. Because when I hear stories of people like Inky Johnson, he held it down for his school. Cram High over in Atlanta, Georgia. Never seen the place, but his story is so vivid. Yeah, he made it out that place. He went to University of Tennessee. He did it on college football scholarship. A lot of them can do it that way. But guess what? Inky got degrees. He got bachelor's and master's. You feel me? And even out of Port St. Lucie High School, it's a suburban school. And I hate to break it to you. When I went to college at Southern Miss, people used to tease me the way I was, I acted, dressed, talked, what kind of culture I was accustomed to, and this and that. People tease, did you go to a white school? I'm from Florida. We got a lot of integrated schools, well integrated schools. I know I went to a mixed school. You could technically call it white, but it's all good. All my schools have been very black. They were white on, statistics, but hey, so people would kind of tease, but they'd be shocked on game day with some of our athletics. Now, I'm going to tell you about that. 8th grade, day one, I'm Port St. Lucie Jaguar. I can tell you the truth now. So many years down the road, I was all in. Now, there's some moments. Wish I was out of there. Due to some things that was going on internally with players. It's all good. And I wanted exposure. I wanted that college football scholarship. You may look at me and say, oh, you must not have been that good. It must not. Y'all don't understand. You put me in the right private school or sports academy nowadays, who I was then, y'all would know who I am. Even if it was 1AA or Division II, you know who I am. It just didn't work that way. Unlikely. Because I still made it in life. I'm still going to make it. And I'll make sure other people won't have it their way, have their dream that way. And they got sports academies and plenty of private schools and plenty of public schools doing better. They have all this technology now, Huddle and all this other stuff. These kids working hard. You got some jaded kids just think the world owes them something, sadly, but you got some hard workers, even that come from privilege. It don't matter if you, because some of the privilege started out just like I did, poor, or from the projects, or from some adversity. They may have some privilege now. That's because their parents worked themselves in that position. Favor. They got blessed. All kind of stuff happened, But I like to see the young kids do it. And I do a lot of this encouragement for them. I do it for them. I want them to see my videos. That's why I try not to get out of line. Try to keep it orderly. And a good view of what it's going to be as they advance through life, So, unlikely. Be unlikely. That 8th grade, they had a thing where they bust us to spring practice. So students from Dan McCarty Middle School, kids from Southport Middle School, all of Zone 3, they had the budget to do this. This is way before some of the recessions we knew. Bust us to practice. We're in there. Same varsity coaches. They were getting us ready for our freshman team. We got to play a scrimmage, red and white, black and white, whatever, red and white scrimmage. And this was right after the whole varsity JV group, We really only had a freshman at varsity at the time. But just being acclimated and accustomed to some of the players. So there's Jaguars that came before me that are legendary athletes. And some concurrently I did play with. I'm not dissing the school. A lot of greats came through there. It was just disorderly at times, So many coaching changes. Great coaches, though, but so many changes. Just kind of go out with the wash. But I still made my way into college, nonetheless, Not dissing my school. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, y'all. And if there weren't so many barriers to entry, people like me can go save the place as an athletic director or coach. But I'm not saying I'm just going to commit to it, but I'm just saying there's somebody else wanted that doggone bad, somebody. There's all these barriers to entry. Got to work for the school or whatever, or work for the district. Man, you need a winning program. And I see myself more so from the eye of funding the situation. I said it back then. I didn't have no money. I wanted the school to have a jumbotron, And I remember Coach Schneider, one of the coaches that passed through Port St. Lucie High School and Centennial. So he coached both me and Jamar Chaney at Centennial. I didn't know who Jamar Chaney was, but he was writing his ticket through life concurrently. And he ain't the only Centennial Eagle that was fire. He the one that made it. He the one that made it. He had some that went to college. They have degrees. They making crazy money now. They doing great in life. And you got some, I believe, went to play arena. But he the one that made it. NFL, all that. All SEC, all American, all that. NFL. But I'm telling you me and Jamar got ties. That's a good dude. Hard-working dude, hard-hitting dude. That's the truth right there. I kid you not. One of the hardest hitting dudes I ever faced. Him and Jarvis Drayton. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. I'm talking about who they were, respectively. So I put some respect on your name. I ain't gonna dish you. I ain't talking about Jamar. I'm saying anybody. I try to speak respectfully. I got mad respect for Jamar. That boy went to Mississippi State and did his thing. Found his wife. Now he back there now, working on the staff. Much respect to Jamar. Props, respect, and honor. I'm just saying, sometimes as we go through life, some people go another way, and they could have been right there. I'm saying this respectfully. It's just the truth. Unlikely. Mr. Unlikely made it. He's one of them. I'm just flowing. But he had a lot of other teammates made it somewhere in life too. And because there's still breath in our lungs, there's still life in us, God can use you, Mr. Unlikely. That's right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. If I said your name, I said you're not. Said your name not. You can still be a millionaire. You can still be a billionaire. You can still be legendary. No matter how much is against you or against your name, I respect you. God bless you, sirs. God bless you. I mean it now. I'm just trying to tell you, from the 8th grade spring practice, just getting acclimated with Port St. Lucie football. Man, hard work, but it was great. I knew I was going to something great. We had facilities. We had the strength training room, home field. That drew me. Like, the only school in the county with a home stadium. So I'm coming from somewhere, y'all. So that's why people tease my, he's spoiled, rich boy, this and that. And what it looked like. But coming from somewhere, it was a blessing. So it was a draw. It was a draw. The camera people would come to us. And I'm going to progress you through this. Unlikely. 9th grade, I get in there. I was doing the thing academically like I should. My mom and, those guidance counselors, Mr. Kemp, Mr. Slattery, all of them, they put me in the honors curriculum. Mama was with it too. And she had such a view of where I can go in life. My mama could see me being a congressman. She said that. Congressman. That don't mean I'm going to do it. I might do it. But that let you know she see me as a speaker, a figurehead, all that. Somebody doing for others, representative. That's what all that's about. Not saying I had to be, but my mom tried to speak life into me. So I want y'all to know I didn't grow up being beat down and being told I was stupid and told all kind of ways I couldn't do stuff. I had some lemons shot at me, but they're not as drastic as some people. Some people do. They do damage for what they say to children. But I had it good. Progressing through the 9th grade, playing on the freshman team. This was real. Real uniforms, real travel, good distance to travel. That's the first time I'm going to Sebastian River, Martin County High School, and all of that. First time I got to play in the big stadium in town, Lionwood Stadium. And my dad said it years ago. Maybe you'll get to play in there one day, son. That was a big thing to me back then as a child. Big stadium in town. Can hold 10,000 or more, basically. And 9th grade, things move fast. Moving up to that JV and varsity level, mixing it up with the big brothers. And I had some teammates. Some of them They MMA fighters. Mario and AJ Rinaldi. Mario Big Hurt Rinaldi, that's one of my teammates. And people know this in the community. Some of the nicest people you meet. Black and Italian fellas. Rinaldi, and they come from the same stock that I come from, that citrus harvesting, working hard. So I see Mario here and there, and Mario getting that money. He doing all kind of work. And it's amazing to see. I used to practice and play with a legend. He was a defensive lineman. Mario. AJ was an outside linebacker, like myself, inside and outside. And great leadership to be amongst. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trashing my school at all. I played along some people that taught me how to win in life. Them some winners right there. It just is what it is. Exposure sometimes, Some of the things I concurrently saying to you. But I want all to be well. I want there to be a day when Port St. Lucie High are the state champions. Like I said, I'm not trashing my school. I wanted to do it. And I think that's what bugs some of my teammates in practice. I ain't talking about them. They work hard. Some of them, the 10-yard sprints, the 20-yard sprints, 40-yard sprints, some of them, they're getting it. When I wasn't suffering from asthma cramps, I'm being told by my man, slow down, man. You're making us look bad. You're going to make us run more. I'm trying to get better. I didn't always answer them. I wasn't always allowed to talk. I wasn't cool. I didn't have the cool points. So y'all could probably tell my ranking with the girls, but doesn't matter. It's just some of that just wasn't meant to be. Some of the girls that some of us put on pedestals back then wasn't meant to be. Unlikely. I used to be dashing in them drills. But it ain't just that. On game day, on kickoff team, I used to be the first man down sometimes. So some of the people that tease me think I'm unathletic. I was first man down the field. I'm trying to separate the ball carrier, separate the ball from the ball carrier. I'm trying to make something happen. And there were times I did. There were times I've helped my teammates score by pop, ball going there. You probably don't see it in me because I'm so nice. I was serious about the football. Yes, I had fear at times, but I knew how to conquer that fear. It's a grimy game. You got to be, it's here to be hit. And you do it when you want to do it legally. You want to do it legally. So, as for y'all that want to know why I don't go try to act a gorilla in the street somewhere, I'm done that. I did it in a legal format, me and my teammates. And I played with some dogs. I played with some people you do not want to mess with. My age, older and younger. So, it made a man out of me in certain ways. So, I'm confident in that. And I respect them. A lot of them. That's why they are successfully married men and got businesses and got good jobs. They got man in them. You know what I mean? It was good to come up along the ranks of that and not be a quitter. Stick with it. Unlikely. We all unlikelies. Unlikelies. Now back to that progressing to JV and varsity. That was when we had, my teammates and I had some of our first real distance. We're taking it to Palm Beach for the spring game. My sister met me halfway. I got pictures of that. It's on my social media. But it was great to be able to play in the JV and varsity action. Rest in peace to Victor Phillips. Victor got to be in there. Our quarter was the fourth quarter, the JV. Victor got in there third because we were running out of running backs. And Victor was a big, strong kid, 14 years old. He just wasn't shy of contact. Another one of them courageous people I'm talking about. And Victor was in there getting them reps. He was doing that thing and was able to be right there with us in fourth quarter, but he had to step up for third. We were running out of running backs. So they just called him on up. 14 years old, you know what I mean? And these dudes from Royal Palm was swole, man. You talking about, I'm going to show you bicep. I ain't been doing much of what I should. I'm talking about they had quarterbacks and running backs with 4 of these I got going on here. You know what I mean? Look a little better here. So that's what I was working in back then. Varsity football is hard work. So that whole time, once you step out that freshman incubator, you're part of the big leagues for real. The JV and the varsity. It's about trying to bench press 225, 300, 400. I never could because of the shoulder. But I made up for it in squat and deadlift and leg press and all of that, But there's people out there, man. This bicep right here, they had 4 of them. Shoot. High school. Kid you not. Dudes taking this stuff very seriously. Dudes from Royal Palm. Swole. And that's just the average of Palm Beach County. They get real down there in South Florida, man. Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. That's why when you see across the college football landscape, a lot of them from down there, even in the Big Ten. They play at Indiana. They play at Michigan. They play at Michigan State. They play at Wisconsin. Some of them from down there. Like these some serious football players that you just might see on Sunday. Unlikely. Because you're thinking, man, can they take that cold? They're willing to. Because they know they might end up playing in a cold weather city. Or in a very cold weather game. So they're like, I might as well just jump in there. Just jump. Yeah, jump. Songs like that. Let's hear songs like that at halftime. People like to think, oh, you whitewash, you white at it. Man, I'm cultured. I'm black cultured, I'm African American cultured, I'm American cultured, I'm white cultured, I'm Hispanic cultured. What you want to say? Can be Asian cultured. I love Asian people. Hashtag stop Asian hate. Asian women are some of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm going to tell you the truth. Not sugar-coated. They might have not always preferred me, but I see you. They beautiful. You know what I'm saying? My line brother from Iota Phi Theta, Epsilon Psi Chapter, University of Southern Mississippi. Asian. He's Vietnamese. We love our brother. LOB. We love our brothers. He's a good guy. Fraternity or not. He was a good guy before that. But it has helped him culturally. That gave him some more swagoo on ragu, like Tony Gaskin say. That helped Kit. Kit was always a man of the community at the University of Southern Mississippi. University Activity Council. They call it SMAC now. Southern Miss Activities Council. And, resident assistant. He did that early on. Very involved young man. And the black community has always loved Kit. There were a few core people that grabbed to him, and a few people, man, who that dude, man, who the Asian dude, man, this and that. Just out of curiosity. So we love our brother. And he called for this a long time ago when people started his mess last year in 2020. So hashtag stop Asian hate. Yeah. So just telling you. I don't know how I got there, but I got there. But that varsity, man, that varsity football experience was amazing. It was, music. People try to put you in a box. What school you went to and what music you act like you know. Nah, I know it. Trust me, I know from them games out in Palm Beach County. Video killed the radio star. You know. What was the song? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. It started with this and that. All in this game of love. They played it at halftime between when the band playing or not playing. So people got me all wrong when they try me like that. It's just communities I've been a part of. Ain't no faking. It's just who I am, part of me being cultured. So unlikely. Yeah, so I had a great experience varsity, and it was good for my sister to see it. And my dad, it's always been respectful when he saw or heard of what I did on football field. The fact that I was handling people on offensive and defensive line, they put me on offensive line, defensive line. And this started in a practice, in spring practice. I'm trying to be a defensive back, trying to be a safety. You know, still trying to be Dion. Much respect to Dion. That's part of why I started football anyway. People like that made it look so cool. They made me a defensive tackle and defensive end. They put my skinny tail. I was getting strong. I was in the gym. My skinny tail, who couldn't move a 275-pound one-man sled, who finally got there through being in the weight room. It was available to me. Stuff that we paid gym membership for was a part of my allegiance to being a football player. That effort to get better. It was part of my public school. Weight room was open. And Coach Catron was that dude. And shout out to all the other people that had us working hard. You know, Coach Tybel, Coach Schneider, everybody that came in. Coach Schneider had come in back then with us. Great guy. And my sister even heard this one. I'm talking about that generational family love. His parents talking so highly of him. Grown man, 30-something. This is what y'all need to realize about some of the football coaches. Varsity football coaches, they 20, 30-something years old. They young too. They got a daddy. They got a mommy. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, they own us, but you want to make your last name great. You want to make your family great in life. Unlikely. Coach Schneider was a good dude, man. And I don't know where he is today, but that's a good dude right there, man. Parents, if Coach Schneider anywhere around your football program, you're in good hands. Booster, athletic director, football coach, whatever, strength coach, that's that dude. He'll work you. He'll make an athlete out you. A football athlete out you, for real. I had good coaches around me. I was getting strong. I was getting a little bigger, but I had ways to go. If you see that 9th grade picture 14, 9th grade, that latter part, you'll see, man, you were big. I was. That was only the beginning. I kept getting tip-top shape, and I wish I had someone to lead me into team bodybuilding. I would have been had a resume in that sport. It didn't come till later in my 20s. Unlikely. I didn't always have the inroads with people. Just coming from a community that's a little different. I was so devoted. So, got pictures of that. Blocking and tackling, this and that. You know, not pictures from that part, but just pictures of uniform. Me and my sister. At the time we were both younger. And moving on into 10th grade. 10th grade, great experience. My teammates and I, we got to play this neutral site game in Orlando at Disney's Wide World of Sports. Pro-style locker room. Great facility, great feel against Box Elder High School in Utah. And we come to find out on game day, they are a perennial state powerhouse. They win state championship all the time. And we have those in Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas. We have teams like that. Always winning. Trinity Christian. We didn't have to play Trinity Christian. We played St. Thomas Aquinas, though. Palm Bay. We played Palm Bay. Teams like that were the real deal. Played Palm Beach Gardens. I didn't get a touchdown against Palm Beach Gardens, but, play against them, touch field. But this is what the varsity team did. I was in a pipeline like that. We played real teams. People that now have Super Bowl rings. Super Bowl ring with big body bins. That they got it. Big body bins ain't nothing to them. It's like that Bradley Beal video that Deion Sanders shared on his timeline. I respect Bradley Beal. Like, I don't know that much about NBA, but I like that speech because it comes from the heart. The camera just happened to catch it. You gotta work hard and you gotta put some effort in. You gotta have a good attitude. That's what all this really is about. A big body Benz ain't nothing. Maybach music. It ain't nothing. You gon' get it. Work hard. Enjoy the process. It's coming. Maybach, a Falter Bot, Rolls Royce, whatever, it's coming. Platinum edition, all this stuff you want. King Air, whatever. Sprinter is coming. Condo, mansion is coming. You work your tail off. You run all the way through the line on the 110. You blazing on that 40. You do all the, when they have you slow twitch, when you're doing the 100 rep days and all that high rep stuff, focus. You're going to get ripped. You're going to look good. The girls going to like you, dog. You know what I'm saying? All that. Ladies, man folk going to like you too. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. Don't ever be afraid to be an athlete, ladies. We like that. Real men like that. Only a sheep would care about that contrary talk. It's all good. It's all good. But just working hard, man. Just working hard. Unlikely. And we did our best in that game over at Disney Wide World of Sports. We lost by a factor of 3 points or 8 points. It was great, and it was great culturally to see. Because I'm telling you, Box Elder was a white team. They had a few mixed boys on there. They didn't, it's just what it is. Sometimes around the country, you get in different terrain and different climate, and they can play, and they beat us. A black enough team. It's just what it is. Boys from the hood on this so-called white team. We got toasted. We fought for it. We did the best we could. We played a great game. Just a few mistakes. Little mishandle, other handoff here, pass not caught there. That's all. That's the only thing cost us. The team that make the less mistakes win. It was great. There's a lot of that Pac-12, Big 12s type of stuff. It was a lot of 60-yard games and 40-yard games. We was getting off us too. We were doing that too. It was great. It was a JV game. We come to find out we were a group of solid 10th graders. We come to find out they had some 11th graders on that team, and they let us know we can stick, we can hang. And this early in the season. It's like game 3 or 4. You only get like 8 games, 10 games, that level of football. Something like that. We later got tried to by Martin County and Sebastian. We come to find out we playing 11th graders. We found out later. But that let us know we can do it. You might say, why does that matter? Look at the age in the body of a 15-year-old versus a 16-year-old. And in the FHSAA, you can play from, up to 19 and a half. It don't matter when you start. Maybe some kind of weird kid and you skipped high school, but you got to 19 and a half. Me, I was 17 the day it was over. I'm just born early, born in July. But it was great experience, and still working on it. 10th grade, go through another spring practice. It's just like college. You see all that on Instagram nowadays. High school is the same way in Florida. Just constantly in that weight room, constantly working hard, strength and conditioning, doing them 110-yard sprints. I kid you not, I think the most reps I ever ran over 110. Coach Tauber had us out there, 23. You learn how to torque that engine up. You talking about a falter bot, be like Michael Kubler on Instagram. Handcrafted by me, the big boss of my DNA. Yeah, you learn about your engine. With 20 to max. Yeah, let's go 23. I'm not sure if it was 27. It's the few people that showed up that day for practice, for strength and conditioning. People in the track and field, what are they doing? Because Centennial used to come to our track, tease us, because they had some super athletes. They worked really hard as part of the Centennial culture, the crosstown rivals, and I say this respectfully. That rivalry need to stay strong. We need to see who got the best. That's what college is going to be. That's what it's going to be like playing in your conference. Can't just one team just dominate the town. You both need to make each other better, It ain't just a mob, this and that. We out there running, they said, because we weren't technically running for a sport, but were we not? I was that guy doing the off-season workouts I should have. Some people were playing other sports, and some people kind of just chilled. They shouldn't have been chilling. I mean, I'm just saying. But we've had those talks since high school. Some people say it, because it's true. We had all kind of talent, all kind of athletes. They put it like this. They said we had people We just didn't work hard. We just didn't take that stuff seriously. If I knew what I knew now, and that, like they just say, like, you know, that's why Centennial was doing things. That's why Palm Bay and Aquinas were doing things. They took that stuff seriously. No diss. We don't have these talks. And these people I grew up with, it's all good. We just, sometimes you realize and look back, you this close to holding a state title, at least district champion, at least. So anybody watching this video, don't slack off. Don't be playing video games. Don't be getting into habits you don't need to get into. Don't just try to chase the girls. Man, go run them sprints. Go learn them drills. Them same drills they gonna do in the combine that you know well how to do, that you got on the diagram or chart, you know, or you got a coach working with you. Be a part of the passing league. You know, do that. Be about getting better, because you only get one shot. You only get one game day win. Louisville come to watch you. Notre Dame come to watch you. Southern Miss come to watch you. Stanford come to watch you. Illinois come to watch you. Clemson come to watch you. When Rutgers come to watch you, you only get one chance at that. So, and you never know when they're going to show up. You're going to find out that night. So, all your receivers, make sure you got your hands together. All you DBs, make sure you know how to lock down. All you linebackers, especially if you were a weak side linebacker like me, the rover back linebacker, make sure you know how to cover. Make sure you're doing the best you can. So in the end, it looked like, man, you shut down. Wasn't nothing coming that way. Make sure, if you were like me, that weak side defensive end, weak side outside linebacker, when coach tell you to stay at home in situations like that, stay at home, because they might reverse it. You might be right there to put an end to that play. Pop! So separate the ball from the dude. Pop! You might shut that down. Don't let him get that long game. Let him get no yards. 3 at max. You get what I'm saying? Not that you're allowing 3. It just might be in a situation where you're able to land that down, you know? So, guys, just show up. Like Grant Cardone say, show up to blow up. Unlikely. Be that. In that 10th grade, I'm trying to recall, what was our spring game? So it was Royal Palm in the 9th, going to 10th. John Carroll, Fort Pierce John Carroll, where Jimmy Carson made legends. 5 touchdowns, quarterback. He was an ATH quarterback from John Carroll. So we got to play John Carroll, local parochial school, private school, that loaded the bases. And guess what? I don't care what you say, it's legal. Let the boys recruit. John Carroll had built a powerhouse by gradually pulling from all the public schools, Port St. Lucie, Centennial, Westwood, Central, all of them. Let the boys play and win. So shout out to Lenny Janikowski. So if y'all wonder why I just give Vero some respect, even though it was war back then, that's back then, dog. It's behind me. I got respect for all of them, all the local teams, everybody. John Carroll, Centennial, Vero, it's whatever. That was just for competition's sake. But ain't no competition now. We family. Treasure Coast is the Treasure Lake is the Treasure Lake. Okeechobee, I see you. I made a quarterback in Okeechobee. I made a killing book in Okeechobee. You know, Red Ross by Chevy. That one. Get the lyrics right. But Lenny Janikowski doing that thing at Vero Beach. He's preparing them boys for college. If you ever go watch him, they even got a special teams unit. They don't just let the defense wear themselves out for a punt return. They got a punt return team. You got to see it. They doing legendary things at Vero Beach. So if you wonder why them boys getting the BIT scholarship, Coach Janikowski preparing them for that. So, you know, back to that John Carroll thing. That's when I took on the jersey 40. And 40 is legendary at Port St. Lucie High School. Maybe that's why I got on this video to talk. I got to wear 40 for a while through the Western High School. For a while. That was when I had to put on 50. I added it by 10 because, like I say, there was a point unlikely. It kept coming back. The same thing I told you early on. Unlikely. So, got to shake hands with Justin Palmer after a little field goal point after deal. Say, what up, boy? What's up? Because he had transferred to John Carroll. Gotta respect it. His mom was a team mom. His dad, mom, power couple. Dad, construction guy. Mom, a real estate powerhouse. Dad had money. Justin trying to go somewhere in life. It's a business no matter what you call it. Even though we're amateurs, you got to put yourself in the best position. He went to John Carroll, and eventually he signed with Northern Illinois University and got on TV playing running back, number 40, Justin Palmer. It is what it is. He went to John Carroll to get it. He was a truck at Port St. Lucie. He took that truck over to John Carroll to help them out. He wasn't the only one. So he went to a smaller school, but the exposure. John Carroll had everybody checking him out. So did Centennial. They were a lower class than us too. I was 4A at Port St. Lucie, class 4A back at the time. Centennial was 3A, smaller than us. Everybody at their practice, all the coaches and recruiters. John Carroll, 2A. Everybody, all the coaches and recruiters at their high school, at the practices. So sometimes where you go matters. It's all good. Or, in that Inky Johnson effect, I can make it from this place. You can do that too. Either way you go about it, just know there's avenues. No matter what, unlikely. Because I told you about my teammates. I got some teammates went somewhere in life. You feel me? They are somewhere in life. And we lost. Jimmy Carson put up 5 touchdowns. My dad knows his family. He knows his dad. But Jimmy later cashed in on a Bowling Green State University football scholarship and played as a freshman. And fast forward to this day, Jimmy don't settle. Young man over in the Tampa Bay market making some good money. Shook hands with him a few summers ago. He making that money, dog. There's people like that, respect to him. Because there's a life after football. Let's make this money, dog. Legal, clean, ethical, moral money, And I commend that. Football builds that in people. I got a lot of winners around me. People from all these high schools and the connection. Football is family. Like, hashtag football is family, NFL. You might think that's marketable, catchy, cliche. Oh, it is. This whole Pop Warner language, this stuff started in. It just go up levels. JV, freshman, JV. And there I go again with the roadie gigs listing. And I will get my sleep soon. Working hard. Get my stuff out of dry, get my sleep soon. I'll work so many hours. It just is what it is. It may seem awkward, but I just touched down a little while ago. It is what it is. I can't always hop to work like that. I ain't got no sleep, no way. Even if I'm going to sleep the last 2 hours, it still don't make sense. You ain't sleep. You need sleep. But I need to get this up out of me because, hey, who knows? This video could pay me $50,000. It could. I'm trying to get doctor money from YouTube. I really am. But going through that summer, passing league, being involved in passing league, and I remember in 10th grade, we had this 5-2 defense. And shout out to my big bro. Another Troy. We had all these Troys, This was, that's my brother. What's my brother? His name is Troy. it's just slipping my mind. And making good money to this day, husband and father. But shadowing him. It was all a brotherhood, levels to it, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. We had this 5-2 defense. We had the jack linebacker. Some people call it the bandit linebacker. So that 5th is actually a stand-up outside linebacker. So I was playing that, shadowing him. But learning how to cover, that was part of my job in the off season. It was great. You get in shape, you burn this body fat, you learn how to run, you stay on your diet, try to eat things helpful for you in practice and this and that. You learn how to move. When I move, you move. Just like that. That's what it's like being a linebacker or a defensive back. You gonna cover. You gonna have to learn when coach doing little ball drills. All that stuff. And you're gonna pass it to you too. You're gonna learn how to intercept. You're gonna rehearse it over and over. So it's practice how you play. Because one day that play gonna be real. The ball come right there. Catch it. Halt tail. If you must fall down, just catch it. Just catch it. Secure the bag. Secure the ball. Secure the bag. Yep. And that 11th grade year, believe it or not, broke the starting lineup. Shout out to Coach McGuire. Had me a starting outside linebacker. We had a 4-4 defense that year. So I used to get the hide behind the defensive end because I was a little compact. I was about 6 foot, 175. Technically, I was 5'10". 5'10", 175. I might have been heavier. I don't know. But I was getting solid, man. leading to the Jermaine you see today. But things happen. Grades kind of fell in that first semester. It's the first time it did, because I was an honor student, like I told you, ever since it counted. But I bounced back. It made a man out of me, and I made nothing less than 3.0, 3.3, 3.5 all the way the rest of high school till I graduated. True story. But I bounced back. I started listening to classical music. Anytime Fitness Fort Pierce, I'm coming back to y'all. I am. Let me get that money right. I'm coming back to y'all. Anytime Fitness Fort Pierce. So I got to do great things as an outside linebacker in the 11th grade. Got to do great things. It was amazing. Tackles, sacks, broken up passes, and almost interception. Did all that. All that. In such a short time of doing it. Got sent down to the JV. Yes, I got sent down to the JV. It was still eligible to do that. We had a coaching change. Right after that game, Coach McGuire had to step down. Heart issues, stress, things of that sort. And I got lost in the shuffle. They asked me to step down to JV. Lo and behold, Coach Schneider was running the JV. He was wanting me to get my reps and experience and be leader. It was amazing. So, believe it or not, I was captain material. You get what I'm saying? Which led to me being a rotating captain in that senior year. I believe I had it the junior year too. Just time flies, it evades. But I got called right back up to the varsity later, because the JV season is a window inside of the varsity season. So those JV players that are ready, you're coming up to varsity anyway. It's going to be all good at the end of the season. It's all good. Just show yourself approved. Study to show yourself approved. And it was great. It was a great experience. And I got ready in that senior campaign. I tried to run track. They wanted me to throw the discus. They saw potential in me, but I wanted to run sprints. So I walked away from that, respectively. Called me a quitter if you must. But I wanted to be an Olympian. Like, I just didn't see it in the discus. Short term. Some people didn't know about that part. I was slinging the thing as they taught me. I was slinging it, but nah. So I went to doing the conditioning sessions like so still with my coaches. I even toyed with a little hot keto in all season. They wanted me to do that, and that balance helps me to this day. I couldn't master the katas. I walked away from that too. It's all good. Couldn't. But I led to a great senior campaign. I hurt myself some kind of way in the the mid to lower neck, trying to squat too much right before spring ball. But I did what licensed athletic trainer Jill wanted me to do. I got it back together. Them and my coaches, they knew I wasn't faking. I had really screwed up. Teammates heard my back and neck click. I did 375. I went down once, went up. Coach said, do it again. Because he knew I was strong as an ox. I really was, and I really am. But caused me to click. So y'all got to have respect for these football players. Y'all mad they getting $60 million contracts, $80 million contracts. Do you know what they do to their body? Why they going through so much pressure and stress? I didn't even have all the means yet, you know. But I came back from that and did what I must do. New head coach, Coach Doug Means. Coach Doug Means on my Instagram. Much respect to him. He's in Hampton, Arkansas now. He's an Arkansas boy. Unlikely, trust me. Arkansas showed up in my life then. And respect to Arkansas in my life now. Never been, but I got my ties. It's all good. It's all love. I see love in people, all 50 states. All 50 states. And I'm going to empower your economy. Trust me, I'll see you soon. I'm going to empower you. I'm going to use your economy. I'm going to see what it's worth, what I can do, and what I can get out of it. But I'm going to infuse your economy. The things I know how to do. Hashtag, geotag. Make these videos. Referral links, referral-based marketing. I'll get you going. I'm about impacting communities. And Coach Doug Means had a plan for me. And he left everything on the table. I was trying to sell myself in a good way. I wasn't trying to butter him up. I wanted to return kicks. I wanted to be a running back, all that. He said, we'll see, son, we'll see. He was very positive about it. He didn't tell me get out the way. He didn't say that. He was giving everybody a chance to work hard and earn what they get. And he was one of the greatest coaches we could have. That man was tough on us, but he was structured. And it helped some of the assistant coaches that were along there. We needed it. You need that tough coach. You need that one. But he was a lot of fun, though. He was a lot of fun. And he taught us, y'all got to forgive me. I love this dude. I respect Coach Means. now that I'm a grown man and I see how it is and how you gotta be, sometimes I employ some of them tactics. Coach Means put it this way. Ooh, I just got that payment from Point Pickup. Thank you, Jesus. That what that text was? Yeah. Y'all need to join Point Pickup. Link in the description of the video. Point Pickup got some money for you. Oof. I tell you can deliver at Walmart 3 or 4 ways. Ooh, Point Pickup got some money for you up in there. I tell you. You want that right there. It's simple. All you need is a cell phone in the car. Sign up for one. Tips gonna rain in on you. But I also want you to join Roadie and Postmates and Instacart. You got 3 or 4 ways you can work delivering with Walmart. So when I wake up and I get it together, I'm going to get me some Point Pickup money. Yeah, buddy. Like that. I was joking with my friend Johnny earlier. Be like that God's Plan video with Drake. It's a good life. It's a good life. It is a good life. It is. But every day is payday. Every day is payday. That's Juicy J from 3-6 Mafia and Pimp C. Rest in peace, Pimp C. But back to what Coach Means said. He said, all my life, people have been calling me an a-hole. This is the thing about Coach Means. He gonna get what he want out of life respectfully. He gonna do it the right way. He gonna get what he want out of life. Coach Means has an eye for the ladies. He has a beautiful wife. He has beautiful children. They all growing up so fast. I was just amazed. He had the cutest wife. He really did. No, not that I expected anything less. I'm like, man, boy, go ahead, Coach Means. And I'm saying from I was a little boy, and I knew my place. But role models, like, man, I can do this, man. I can get me a gorgeous wife one day. You feel me? I mean this respectfully. I wasn't one of those moving too fast and this and that. But it's just icons, you know? Icons. Deion Sanders, some of my ball coaches. My dad, a beautiful woman. My mother pretty. Rest in peace. She's pretty. Go look at my pictures. So if folks want to get the hating on me, hey, this is to pass on to a daughter. You feel me? It's all good. And the handsome to pass on to a son. It's all good. But Coach Means was a great guy. He did let me play running back. He let me get my chance at it. And he didn't mind letting some of my teammates know when they thought stuff was funny. I'm fixing to let Jermaine play running back. Hey, it was said. It needed to be said. Because, hey, I'm probably one of the best you never heard of. You ever heard of Marshawn Lynch? You ever heard of LeGarrette Blount? That's me. Even though I'm a nice guy, that's the kind of running back I was. Plow. But guess what? I had to learn to play running back, and it was probably a little too late in the game. And we had running backs much faster than me. Remember I told you about that 4.5? I was a 4.6 when I was thinking too much, but I was a 4.5 when I recorded that at UCF later on after that initial spring, getting acclimated to Coach Doug Means. Great guy. And he did something so funny. When he told the reporters with their nosy self about what we're going to do. And when we lined up, it's an inside thing. My teammates, if you got that good of memory, you remember what happened. It was like watching the water boy. Watching the defense. I'll just put it that way. Y'all figure it out. It Coach Means. And sometimes you got to be what I told you. Like, you can be a gentleman, you can be a respectable person, but no one has a right to put a cap on your life and a limit on your life. You can kick that door down. I don't mean we ain't kicking doors, violating nobody's privacy and space and trying to get nothing out of nobody. We talking about like that Pimp C, little Kiki knocking doors down. Somebody telling you can't be a millionaire, a billionaire. They tell you can't have a gorgeous wife. They tell you can't get this honor roll. You can't get college admission. You can't get a degree. You can't buy property over here. Oh, that kind of business won't work. That's not for you. Don't listen to them. Kick dough, shawty. Kick dough. So the world may call you a rear end, but hey, sometimes you gotta empower that rear end, channel it. Don't be that to everybody. Sometimes you know people really got you messed up, but that's for me. So hey, they might call you that. Babe, the wife that choose you as you choose her, you choose her. But if she co-chooses you, she don't see you that way when you come home. But when it's time to go out there and do war, football teach you how to do war. For all the stock traders, all the financial advisors, for all the real estate tycoons, for all the businesses in competition for the corner, the gas stations, the burger places, the chicken places, all the segment of gyms, the different types of gyms, Anytime Fitness, Planet Fitness, Gold's Gym, Joe Waiter, Bear Francis, Powerhouse, CrossFit, Hard Exercise Work, Orange Theory Fitness, F45, the Camp Fitness, all that. Sometimes you got to go bulldog. You got to go get it. Somebody got nerve to say what you can't have. Blow past them. You understand what I'm saying? You do your research. You make your stake. You stake your claim. You do it. Unlikely. God bless. So that senior campaign, here I am, y'all. Playing outside linebacker. Can play also defensive line. Play offensive guard. I had to, and coach put us through it. We had an honor code of what we had to do in the offseason. We had to show up for these strength and conditioning workouts. It was no more that, you just going to play on the team. Like, no, you owe him a certain quota of workouts. And there were players that had to come back and earn it because, hey, some of us didn't have cars. Our parents didn't have cars. I was fortunate enough to ride with Vince Crenshaw Jr. I was fortunate, and I thank y'all for it. You and your dad, y'all helped me. Because sometimes it wasn't taken that seriously at my address, even though I had love from family. It wasn't taken that seriously. But hey, you helped me make it. My will plus your willingness to help. I thank you for that. I had your help sometimes, amongst other people. My cousins. I cannot forget you, Antonio Lawrence, and Auntie Ruby Ruffin. I cannot forget you, LaVaris Patterson, and my Auntie Barbara Patterson. I'm telling you what it was back then. I appreciate y'all. Some of y'all came got me from games, Because like I said, it wasn't taking that seriously at my address. Even though I was loved, it wasn't taking that seriously. And I met that quota of workouts like a lot of us did. Some came back to honor it and were allowed to practice. And I kid you not, I had to wait. I got put in like I was a young boy. Sometimes the first 3 games of the season, I got my reps here and there. I had to wait the fourth quarter when the clock was running down or something to get in and get reps. I didn't throw tantrums. I didn't go crazy in coach's face. I was patient. Coach Doug Means and John Altizer, it's an honor system. You get what you earn. You get what it's time for you to get. Even though I was a senior. So somewhere along maybe game 3 or 4, something happened to my teammate Kevin McGlynn. And I hope I referenced it right in my first book, Most Valuable Prospects. Hopefully I referenced it right. He got hurt. And it cost him the rest of the season. And Kevin McGlynn was there with me. And us that started from that 8th grade group, we had been there the whole time. So basically I did 4.5, a sub 4.5 years of high school football, totally illegal. Notice this whole 30 minute stretch been about just high school and high school football. It was a job. And that job helped me get them good grades and got me where I did in college. So I was willing. I was called upon by Coach Sean Altizer, and I answered that call to play offensive guard. Now here I was wanting to finally be a running back, a skills athlete on that level. It's the last campaign for senior year. But I said yes to be an offensive guard. But I had my reps in practice with running back too, and I stuck with it. That's when 40 became 50. So if you see on my YouTube, Jermaine Thomas 40-50, it iconicizes the years I spent in that jersey. And back to 40. Darryl Wright. He was a Dallas Cowboy. He was Port St. Lucie Jaguar. He went to a New Mexico junior college. He played at the University of Oregon Ducks. So I want y'all to know your Port St. Lucie Jaguar history. You have a Jaguar that was number 40, a defensive end at the University of Oregon. And he was good too. And he became a Dallas Cowboy. He had a little time as a Dallas Cowboy. So that 40 is legend at Port St. Lucie. I want y'all to work hard and earn that 40 jersey. One day that's going to make sense to you. They're going to watch this. They're going to learn about what I've been saying. That 40 jersey is very important. Daryl Wright, Justin Palmer, Jermaine Thomas, and a few other people. That 40 important. Yeah, I see it that way. That 40 important. That's a hard working person. That 40 important. That 40 is a hustle player. You can work hard. That's the way I see it. That 40 is important. That's what it is. So I had to exchange 40 for 50 to be offensive line eligible. I chose 50 so I at least be remembered and people can catch on. Yeah, that's him. Because people look for you. I was a good guy. I was likable in the community as far as being a football player. By teachers, by some students. Because I wasn't a very cocky, airy person. There's people to my senior year in that honors cohort didn't even know I played football. But shout out to Mrs. Lawton, one of my literature teachers, English teachers. You know, my teachers, they would make oh, congratulations to Jermaine and the football team, this and that. Homecoming win Friday night. And people say, dude, you play football? It was like that. I was an honors student. I was a student. Some of them didn't even know I played football. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm a football player. That was kind of known. I talked about it here and there, amongst the campus, but I was there to learn. And I let football speak for itself, I was a team. There was some cockiness and some airiness amongst me and anybody else. I didn't know that called back then. But you're confident, nonetheless. But that's what's led me to being this far in life. I was a student athlete, a real one. So I went on, just like my dad, made my dad proud, blocking big bears, as he called them. Because they used to do it to me. They used to put the biggest defensive lineman on me, 280 pounds, 300 and pounds, 305 pounds. And I used to block them. I know that's hard for y'all to believe, but I was devoted. I was always in the weight room. I used to block these dudes. Block them. Not get pummeled. Sometimes I got pummeled, but not often. I was blocking them. I was resisting. I was giving them a hard time, really hard time. I was doing my job. And the rest of the offensive line was larger than me, but I was holding it down. And I was one of the rotating captains. Not elected permanent, but those guys who, because of the hard work and what we do day in, day out, coaches will call who those captains are. You didn't know till game time, And we would represent our team. They know we were a good character and could represent them in ways that we could on the field and with the referees. And just on the college, like I told you, unlikely. I got into Southern Mississippi, who expressed interest in me in football in the 11th grade and academic admission in the 11th grade. I got in. They were the first school to let me in amongst all the schools. I did get into Jackson State, but due to some of the ways that they handled admission back then, I didn't know till I was geared up and ready to go to Southern Miss. That's a little late to learn. I got into a good amount of schools. It was great. It's a great experience. So football that's a student activity. So that counted as part of my mission. Test score, grades, student activity. So like I said, I chose to go to college. I wasn't forced out the door to college. Nothing. I chose to go to college. I didn't get to play football. I wanted to, but hey, that's for another generation. It's all good. I'm not going to force it either. If that's what they want to be, athletes, it's all good. You want to be in the chorus. You want to be in the band. It's all good with me. Do your thing. But talking about unlikely, and I made it through college, 4.5 years undergrad, graduated, unlikely. And I endeavor to pass a lot of the things I do on today. Published a book. It may have typos. It may have a funny big font, but I published it. I did it. I'm out here doing this work, and I'm learning how to do the techniques I told you. Hashtag, geotag, all of that, so I can be found. Things that can outlive today, that can pay later too. Unlikely. None of that makes sense where I come from. And I want you to carry on unlikely. Be the best you can unlikely. And to break that cap, I'm still figuring life out. Taxes, putting money up in certain ways. I know how to, but you want to amass such an amount of money that you really officially straight. Like Nipsey Hussle with Bino Rideau. None of this. Hustle officially straight. You want to be officially straight. For real. You want that money to be coming in while you sleep, on your days off and everything else, consistently in growth mode. You go into your next real estate project, your next investment project. Unlikely. And Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, was unlikely. You're not going to find many 33-year-old black men on commercial property on it. He was doing things, rap label, commercial property, all kind of stuff like that. So I'm going to sign off, guys. God bless you. Unlikely. I probably talked over an hour. I was talking.